All right, so here's the dealio, right? For the last 30 years of my career, I was thinking about this morning. So when I was young, it was thought of as a curse. And as I've gotten older, it's been thought of as a gift. And that is sort of my weird commitment to dreaming big and asking, like, what if on a bigger scale, right? So when I was a kid, I can remember my mother saying, you're such a dreamer. Like, you just got to get your head out of the clouds, right? In times like these, it is your ability and your commitment to dream big, and then to take those dreams and put them down on paper, and then to create the plan that you know, that you believe in your heart of hearts will actually get you to where you need to go. And then your discipline to do it when it was hard, especially when it was really hard. And then to treat your business like a business, to be a business owner. And I'm looking at the faces on here, and so many of you have been in the business for a long period of time. I got the opportunity last night to go out to dinner with 6 or 7 amazing human beings. We were talking about like experience, and 2 of them had been in the business for over 25 years. And we were talking about like, what are the things that have transpired over that period of time? And there's a lot, right? There were families, there was births, there was deaths, there was wars, there was the Black October, there was dot bomb, there was inflation, there were interest rates that were higher, there were interest rates that were lower, there were, like everything. There was the Great Recession. There were so many things that happened. And yet here, these 2 incredible sales women were still standing, still successful, still doing what it was that they needed to do. So my goal at the end of this is that you all will be given that gift of dreaming, a gift of being able to treat your business as a business and create some certainty in a market that is certain to be uncertain for the next, 12, 15, 18 months, whatever it is. I guess it really doesn't matter, right? So, can you bring those slides back up? There was something that was really interesting to me in Blue, like for these 2 slides, right? And here's the first of the 2, and it's not the plane, it's the pilot. And so as I was thinking about like this whole idea of like, well, what is a plan and the market shifting? And well, I'm a pilot. Can you go to the, yeah, see, I still don't have control, Carrie. So you're going to have to do that or figure out how to give me control. Or can I ask for control? Yeah, I just requested it. There you go. If you'll grant me control, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Jen Colson's in the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not working, Carrie. Thank you. This is my favorite slide, and it's not about the pilot. It's not about the plane. It's about the pilot. Well, here's the point, right? The plane is the company. The pilot is you. And as a pilot, this I have such a meaning to me. So I'd like to dig in just a little bit on this and talk just a little bit about what this means. What's interesting about flying an airplane is that we fly airplanes in all kinds of weather, different clouds, different ice, sun, cold, stable air, unstable air, winds, all kinds of things. If you're going to go to Telluride, you're going to land at 9,000 feet. If you're going to go to Arizona, you're going to land at 100 feet, right? You have all of these different conditions that are constantly happening as a pilot. And the one thing I know is that if you have to have a great plane, right? Because listen, you could be the best pilot on the planet and have a horrible plane, and you're in for a really rough flight. But same thing, the reverse. You could have the best plane on the planet and have a bad pilot, and you're still in for a really rough flight. When it comes to the plane has got to, listen, you look at these planes especially, right? There are 10,000 different things that this plane can do, of which there's probably only 50 of them that you actually need to do. Here's the thing. They call it dead reckoning. They shut everything off on your airplane and they say, go find an airport and land it, okay? Don't use any instruments. Don't use anything on your plane. Go figure out a way to land the airplane. Your plane has got to be airworthy. Your plane has got to work really, really well. And a great plane has all of these different features. It doesn't matter if the pilot doesn't know anything about them. So as a pilot, I have to know everything that my airplane does. And folks, look at me. I am not an engineer. I would not be considered like the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the guy that's going to be the most technologically forward guy. I had to know everything about the electrical system. I had to know all about hydraulics, and I needed to know about yokes and trims and flight planning and all of this different stuff. I needed to know my airplane inside and out. In the event, A, that I needed something, I knew where to go, and B, if something went wrong, I knew how to fix it. See, the pilot is as important as the plane, and the plane as a pilot. They've got to come together and have this incredible partnership. And that's what we're looking for in 2023, is to come together and be incredible partners with each other. As a pilot, I've got to go, all right, well, listen, where do I want to go? That's my destination. Then I have to create a flight plan, that's what they call it. And I'm studying the different, like, well, what altitudes do I need to fly out? Where is it coldest? Where am I likely to encounter weather? What's my destination? Where do I need to aim the nose of the plane? When do I need to descend? All of these things, that's part of my flight plan. And then I have to go out and execute on the flight plan. And it all starts with the clarity of where we're going, all of it, right? Can you please switch this slide? Okay, thank you. I love this quote, Tim Ferriss: "Life punishes the vague wish and rewards the specific ask." In aviation, we don't vaguely point the nose in the direction we think our destination is. We know exactly where we're going, and the plane has got to get us there. Next slide, please. So we're in a shifting market. Been shifting for several months now. And my belief is that the shifting market is when we find out who the strong are versus the weak. It's the separation. We find out whether or not we have the skills or we're lacking the skills. We separate the intentional from the accidental. It's the place where all the hard work, all the preparation is revealed. And what I know is that you all are some of the most well-trained and professional real estate business owners in the industry. And I also know that if you identify a skill that you need to have in the shifting market, that we are the right plane to help you to develop it. The next year is going to be all about skill sets and mindsets. It's going to be all about skill sets and mindsets. And I love this quote because I think there is this idea that, especially for those of us that have been in the business for a very specific period of time, maybe less than 5 years, where things have only been good, it feels like we're just always rising to the occasion. And the Navy SEALs will say it best: under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. You seek to the level of your preparation. You seek to the level of your airplane. You seek to the level of your capabilities as a pilot. Next slide, please. Can you switch the slide, please? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go if you'll go back. I think I told you one too many, Carrie. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. So what we're going to experience over the next 12 to 18 months, I think anybody who's been in the business for, let's say, more than 12 years knows what's coming, right? It's going to be pretty hard. It's fine. It's hard times, great. We also know that there's incredible opportunity. I was just having a conversation with Jason here in Durango, and we were talking about, hey, this is where the opportunity is really seized. And it's true, on the other side of the hard times are always the good times. So that's amazing. At Gen Blue, Ryan Gorman told this whole story about how everyone looks like a world-class runner when they're running downhill. I love that, right? In our world, right, that's like everybody looks like an expert skier on a powder day, right? Everybody looks like they can fly fish like crazy on a salmon fly hatch. When everything is downhill, everything is easy. Where we really find out whether or not we have the skills is when the terrain begins to change, the terrain begins to go uphill, and we get tested. And what I would say is, let's just remember that in order to get on the downhill side, we must first climb that hill. And Winston Churchill said it: if you find yourself in hell, keep going. In other words, if you find yourself in hard times, don't stop, don't quit, don't curl up in a ball and sit in the corner. In fact, I might say, if you find yourself in hell, go faster, get through it faster, work harder, double down on the things that you know that work. A conversation last night with Kathy and Cinnamon was, hey, there are certain things that have always worked. And there are certain things that sort of come and go. We don't know necessarily if they work or not. We're going to dig into that today, but pay attention. Let's make sure that we're putting most of our effort in the areas where they'll have most of the outcome, or the best outcomes. Thank you. So if you don't have a purpose to climb the hill, you won't climb the hill when things are hard. I know that one firsthand. And so I think at the end of the day, we all want a business that gives us the life that we want, a life that our family and our fitness and our faith and our finances are all operating at the levels that we want. And in our organization, we talk about changing lives, right? Like, that's our goal, is to help each and every one of you achieve the life that you want through the business that we partner with you on. And this year, I want that change, that life change, I want it to be yours. Ultimately, that's it. Like, we want it to be yours. So the question that I have for you is this: do you want it? See, as we go through the hard times, we need to ask ourselves these questions, because as I said, two parts are going to be tested over the next 12 to 15 months. It's going to be your skill set, and it's going to be your mindset. And your mindset will dictate whether or not you even do the skills or you level up the skills that you're missing. That's it. You have to want it, and you have to want it so bad that you're willing to go through the pain of getting it. You have to be able to walk through hell. Hopefully, Jimmy's going to tell us a little bit about how he walked on fire at Tony Robbins this weekend, whatever, right? Literally walked on fire. You have to believe that you're worth it. And I find that oftentimes, and maybe I'm preaching to myself, okay? So I will preach to myself. I have found there are times in my life where I put on a good face and I say, yeah, I want it. But deep down inside, maybe I really don't believe that I deserve it. You got to work through those things, okay? Because when we're tested is when we find out what we're capable of. So do you believe that you're worth it? And are you committed to being one of those business owners? Because make no mistake, as the market shifts, a significant number of the businesses and agents in your areas are going to go away. And what that means is, at the end, you will get a raise if you are one of them continuing to stand. You will get a raise at the end of this. Now, you have to treat your business like a business, like you are the owner of that business. Are you committed to being one of that person, that business owner that's going to get a raise at the end of it because of the market? Are you willing to do the hard work when things are really, 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 really hard? And if the answer is not an emphatic absolutely, then it's time to do some self-reflection and figure out what the obstacle is. Because this is the kind of market that punishes the uncommitted. Right? And we want to change your life for the better. Let's not let the market change your life for the worse. Right? On the other hand, if you said, yes, rock and roll, let's go. I love David Goggins. You can't hurt me, because he says, hey, listen, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So how committed are you to the outcomes that you want? All right, let's go. All right, we're going to take you through a little exercise. I got an amen. Thanks. Thank you, Amy. Amen. All right, any questions? Anybody need anything? Everybody got what they need from a workbook standpoint? We're all good there, ready to go? Okay. All right, use the chat box for questions. But here's the deal. I'm going to take you guys through the process of assessing where you're at right now, and then I want to gain clarity for you and where you want to be. I call it setting the table. And so you can see here, this is a table. So the way I look at this whole life and business or whatever it is that you want to encapsulate it in is that, to me, it's a table, all right? And the best way to absolutely screw up a meal is to have a table that is, let's call it unbalanced, okay? But it's not like the traditional balance. Like, you know, we think about balanced life. It's like, oh, I spend the same amount of time and the same amount of energy. That's what I'm talking about, right? So if I have a table that is too short, like I'm sitting in my chair and it's uncomfortable. If I have a table that's one of the legs is off, whoa. Am I back with you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If one of the legs is off kilter, well, it ruins the meal. And that's the entire point. And so understanding where it is that we need to make adjustments to get to our level 10 is where it starts, right? There's a saying, how you show up in one place of your life is how you show up in all places of your life. And so the first part of what we need to do is identify, well, what are the legs? And then we need to assess where it is that we're at. Next slide, please. So what I'd like you to do is pull out your workbooks. You should have a page that has this on it, right? And it's a table. And so we're gonna go through what each of these are. At this point, I think many of you probably could recite this already, but it's, go ahead. Fitness, finance, faith, and family. So step one, you ready for it? I want you to put next to each one where you believe you are today. Now, before you do it, hold on. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the I'm crushing it. What level are you? And this is where you got to get super, super honest with yourself. The way I like to do this is ask myself over the last 30 days. So I've got a finite window. Over the last 30 days, have I had rock star fitness? Have I had rock star finance? Have I had rock star faith or family? Answer for each. Take a few minutes and go through it, please. When y'all are done, give me thumbs up in the chats, please. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Malia. Ashley. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Hannah. Jan, Erica. Thank you, Durango. Thank you, GJ Kauai. Ashley. Hey, Russ. Thanks, Gummy Bear. Hey, G. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, Sun Valley. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, KB. All right. Beautiful. All right, so let's keep going. So you have the assessment. This is where you're at now. Life change happens when you are at your level 10. Okay, I'm using my words intentionally. Life changes when you are at your level 10. Everybody's level 10 is different. Everybody's success is different. But we're going to dig into these 4 things. And again, just because of sake of time and wanting to make sure that I honor your time, I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but I am probably going to rant on a couple of these because I think that they're just more important. Okay. So let's dig in, please. Next one. The first one on our list is family. I know this is a picture from a while ago, but it's my favorite picture, and so I keep using it. My wife looks amazing, and yeah, my boys look handsome, and right before the I call it the ugly stage. So, and I'm going to make this one pretty easy. Answer the question: what would make you feel like a rock star family man or woman? I want you to hear the words that I'm using. What would make you feel like a rock star family man or woman? What we're trying to do here is we're trying to establish what level 10 is for you. And again, everybody's level 10 is different, right? Everybody's level 10 is different. So don't worry about what your neighbor's writing down. It's what you want. For some of you, it may just be a simple regular date night, right? For some of you, it may be something bigger. It may be a huge celebration trip for your 50th wedding anniversary. Maybe it's doing something intentional with the kids, or I don't know, dinner as a family. Like, I don't even know. Like, for me, right, part of mine is I want my mornings to be super intentional. Like, I want to be at breakfast with my kids. I don't want it to be a mad dash crazy. Like, I want cool, calm, collected moments to be able to send them off into the world as, you know, little young men, as warriors. I answer the question, what do I need to do so that I will feel like a rock star father, as a rock star husband? I am judging myself. I'm not allowing others to judge me. That's the point. Here's the trick. I think it's on the next page of your workbook. You'll have some space. It's not a ton of space. It's small. Right? So I'm not looking for you to make 25 different things, but I would love you to say, hey, here are 5 things that I would like to do. And I want you to write them down in the present tense. Okay. So for example, if it's date night, I have date night on Thursdays. I have dinner with the family on Wednesdays, or we, right? Like, but as present tense, this is what we're doing for you to have a level 10 family. Give me thumbs up when you guys get that. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, AG. Thanks, Jared. He's Josie. Hi, how are you? Thank you, Allie. Level 10. Thank you, Hazel. Teresa, you better be doing this. You better be doing the work. Thank you, Tina. Are you hiding from everybody, Teresa? Hiding in your office? Thank you, Hannah. Beautiful. Looks like a few of you still got your heads down. I got you. I'll give you just a couple more seconds here. Okay. Level 10. Level 10 family. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is the one I get myself in trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and just ask for forgiveness ahead of time. But listen, I'm going to have a pretty significant conversation on the fitness side. So fitness is health and vitality. It just, health and vitality isn't an F, so I needed an F. But here's the challenge, right? When we talk about health and vitality, it's not just physical. It is physical. It's also emotional and like mental. So health and vitality are checking all of these boxes. And I will tell you that you can ask anybody who has ever made a lot of money who suffered in their health, and they will tell you nothing is more valuable than their health. Period. End of story. That's just the way it is. And I get myself in trouble because I speak the truth about this. So here I'm going to stop. How you show up here is more important than probably any other area because it dictates what level of energy you have towards your business, towards your family. It is 100%. There's countless studies. Like there's countless studies about how you look and how you, like your fitness level, right, determines how you're received and perceived by others. Okay. And I'm sorry, like they're not saying you have to be an Olympic athlete, but what they're saying is that if you are not right with yourself, if you're not keeping the promises that you make to yourself, the public doesn't believe that you're going to keep the promises that you make to them. If you're not paying attention, I feel like I'm preaching to myself right now, right? I don't know if you noticed, but lately I am wearing, like I'm dressing up better. I'm not just wearing t-shirts, right? And there was a period of time through COVID where I was just wearing t-shirts. I'm preaching to me right now, okay? The appearance that we bring to our everyday lives, it matters. If I'm not paying attention to the details, then my clients don't believe that I'm going to pay attention to the details that are important to them. Okay, I'm going to get off that one. That one was probably more for me. The other one is longevity and disease. And no, we're not there yet. Longevity and disease. Listen, we want to live for a long time. And when I say live, I mean live. I don't mean survive for a long time. But disease is the killer of all things. And I know some of your stories. I'm looking at the photos here. Some of you have experienced health challenges. I had a great conversation last night with a gentleman who had one. And like, I get it. Health and fitness, disease, longevity, they're important. We want to be around for a long time. And what we're doing right now matters. And there is something that you are doing right this second to your mind and to your body that is not serving you. It's not good for you. You have to tell me what it is. You have to tell anybody else what it is. But you know. Those are the mountains. So those are your hills to be conquered. Those are the mountains that you've got to run up. Those are the crabs that are keeping you pulled down into the bucket and not achieving your best self. It all starts on this leg of your table. Maybe you're a closet smoker. Maybe you binge eat. Maybe you drink too much. Whatever it is, right? Maybe you do something to numb the pain of some emotional challenge that you're going through. Whatever it is time to edit and eliminate those things by any means necessary. No excuses. I have shared with you the story of my dad, and you can pay now or you can pay later. The bottom line is what you're doing today will dictate what will happen 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. It's not an immediate thing. So start treating your health and your vitality as though it's really important. There is a great YouTube video. It's Warren Buffett. I think he's talking to some high school kids. He basically tells a story about, hey, listen, at the end of this seminar, and I'll just use it here, right? At the end of this, you get to pick the car of your choice. And tomorrow morning, bow on it. It's going to be in your driveway. No questions asked. Yours. And of course, you're going to ask, what's the catch? Well, the catch is it's the only car you'll ever have for the rest of your life. How will you take care of it? Well, you'll take care of it amazing, right? Like there will never be an oil change that you will skip, right? Or delay. You will rotate the tires. You will vacuum and clean, and you probably won't even eat or drink stuff in the car. You know what I'm talking about, right? Especially those that have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Might we suggest that you will only have one body and one mind? And that at the very least, we should take care of our bodies and minds better than we would take care of a car. So let's go through it. What are we going to do? What is level 10 fitness? What is level 10 health and vitality? Physical, mental, emotional. How do you look? How do you feel? Calm, cool, collected in the storm, rested and recharged, ready to take on the world. What's your community look like? Again, we're writing this down in the present tense. So if it's something as simple as just a simple wait, then I am this, right? Something more complex, great. These are yours. Again, these are your goals. There are some people that losing 5 pounds or gaining 5 pounds is massive, while others may say, yeah, 25 is better, right? This is your journey, nobody else's. Thank you, Heather. Same thing. When you're ready, give me the thumbs up. Thank you, Tina. Rain, Hannah, GJ, Kauai, Hazel, thank you. Kale, thank you. Mr. Razor, appreciate it. Thanks, T. Ashley, hey, Jean. Amy's iPhone. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Twin, in your beautiful new office. Okay. All right, last one, certainly not least, and it's the one that we're going to spend the rest of the day working on, is finance. Oh, do I skip faith? That's pretty funny. I tried to skip faith. All right, well, I'm going to go through this one. This is another one that is oftentimes an uncomfortable one to talk about, but honestly, I would just be very uncomfortable, and I wouldn't feel right not talking about it. We're on election day. There's a lot of emotions. It's very interesting to me that in this time where like the opinions of others, they're just seemingly being screamed louder and louder and louder, like from the so-called news and from social media, and like all of these people that really, frankly, like either they want you to believe something that isn't even true, or I don't even know. But I've just believed that it's never been more important to be very squarely focused on your core values. And that's what faith stands for here. This is your belief system, right? And there are just a lot of opinions. And I think more than ever, we need to be focused on what our beliefs are and less on what everybody else's opinions are. And let me be very, very clear. There are lots and lots of faith and belief systems out there. And I don't purport to know what the best one is. I have my own, and I'm clear on mine. What I am clear is that I believe that everybody should have one. And whatever that one is best for you is the one I support you in, right? So having a faith is important. And in my faith, there is a scripture that talks about what you consume will consume you, right? And I believe that if you lack that North Star, that focus, that core, that belief system, then you will continue to be addicted to the words and the opinions and the television and the so-called news and all of those things that are so polarizing and frankly toxic. So I don't know. I just think it's time for us to turn off the opinions, turn off the news. Right? I know that today is a big day and it's election day, and hopefully each of you have gone out and voted for who you want to win, and I support you in that, regardless of which side of the aisle we all are on, right? Because at the end of the day, we are Americans. And that's where my faith puts me, is that we are all in this together, humanity. And so it's time to turn off those channels and turn on our faith. And so I'd ask you to very quickly, what are the 2, 3, 5 things that you need in order to have a level 10 faith, core beliefs, core values and beliefs for 2023? Again, in present tense. Let me see the thumbs up when you guys are ready. Beautiful, thank you. All right, let's hit the last one. I won't skip finance. This is what we're here for. So we're here for the finance. So here's the deal, right? And we're going to dig into this one a lot. At the end of the day, we work to live. We don't live to work. We work to live. We don't live to work. We got to be reminded that. Listen, we got to be super, super clear on what winning is and how we're going to get there in a shifting market, period. All right, just like the pilot, you got to be clear on where you're going. You have the best plane ever, but if you point the nose in the wrong direction, you're not going to arrive at your destination. So we need to get clear on what this is. What is it for you? Is it a savings number? Like, are you looking for some sort of sense of security? Like, once I have X number of dollars in my savings account, I can finally feel like I've achieved my finance, my business goals. Is it rental? Maybe it's passive income. I don't know. What is it for you, right? Maybe it's a team. Maybe you want to have a team. You know, I know I talked to Bobby. Bobby, are you on this call? You better be on this call. You know, he wants to build a team. Wonderful, right? Is it a team? Is it different lifestyle, working in different markets? Maybe it's funding a college. Maybe it's funding a trip. Maybe it's just having a business that you can count on. You know, one of those businesses where you go, you know what, whether the market's up, down, sideways, I don't worry. I've got great lead gen. I can count on it. This is important, and we're going to dig deep into this, but I would like you to take just a couple of minutes, and I want you to answer the question, what does a level 10 finance look like for you? 2, 3, 5 things. What is it? As you think about it, can you feel it? Do you feel the pressure? You know, like all of a sudden your shoulders aren't quite as tense because like you made it. Your face is a little less scrunched up. Or you can stop sharing here for just a second. Okay, so here's the deal. You now know exactly where you're at. You did the assessment, and you've identified now exactly what level 10 is for you. There's no turning back. You know exactly. Now it's about creating the plan to get you to where you want to go. That's the magic. It's about doing the work. That's where lives are changed. And that's where JK is going to jump in and take it away.